It's time for Education Matters. Today we're talking about trauma and student learning. Dr. Craig Douglas is here with us, so thank you so much for being with us today.
Good morning. Glad to be here.
So many students have been subjected to trauma or have had traumatic experiences. So what can schools do to help them out? Schools
are becoming much more sensitive, and they are adapting because this has become a huge need. It's a societal piece. One of the things that turned my head, Elena, was there was a study done recently where they studied the grandchildren of victims of the Holocaust, and they found that the grandchildren were impacted because their grandparents had been involved with the Holocaust. In fact, that the trauma had actually perhaps been passed through 2 generations genetically.
Wow.
So if you think about the stress that we have in our society and you go back 2 generations, just even in our location, think of the different events and impacts that could be impacting our children today. So trauma-sensitive schools. That's kind of the new buzzword that I would like to have parents be aware of. Perhaps inquire with their local schools to see what the school stance is on it. I would predict that many schools are addressing it with either professional development, perhaps readiness activities with their staff, especially their counselors and social workers, so that the bottom line is our schools are looking at the whole child ever increasingly because of research like the one I cited. It's amazing in terms of the opportunities to be able to address some perhaps unusual conduct in terms of giving students time out. Now, back in the old days, I'll use me as an example, perhaps I might have yelled at a child. Well, that's not the way to treat a child who's been traumatized. That's exactly the opposite of what teachers today are being trained to do. So, trauma-sensitive schools, if you Google it, lots of websites about it, a lot of very smart people taking a look at it. I'm very hopeful it's going to help students not only now but into the future.
Yeah, those guidelines have certainly changed over the years too for handling with the kids, especially with trauma.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being with us today. For more information on today's topic, make sure to check out the TV5 Hot Links page.